Hey, Inflation Vacation is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. To enter the keywords and learn more, head over to KFAN.com. Inflation Vacation is powered by 2 men and a junk truck.
The first half of Program Password could be used as an advertisement for the abolishment of the game itself. Hopefully we'll get it fixed here in the second half. Is Tommy's mic on? Because nobody can hear him.
Okay,
He's not talking into it.
I'm having a lot of fun.
You are.
I'm having a lot of fun in here.
Yeah, but the audience also has to have fun.
Well,
That's what Colin will teach you.
You know what? I told him during the break when people were saying, they can't hear Tommy. I said, he's jumping around the studio like he's on a dance floor. Stay in front of the microphone.
He can't.
No, I know.
He can't sit still.
Maybe he needs to be put in a straitjacket strapped into that chair.
I'll stay right here.
That's okay. That's good for you. All right, so it's been a very
low scoring affair.
I've been very laborious.
Very laborious.
Very laborious. We're going to talk
great word for it
here a little bit. So where are we now? Has anybody scored any points yet?
Not a whole lot lately. Lil B and Tommy lead Common and Zach 35-23. As always, you can watch the second half Program Password at KFAN.com/watch. Lil B and Zach, the iPad is yours. Take a look at it, please. The password is dive. All right, Zach, somehow you can actually make this a 2-point deficit in this game. You're down 12. You have the option. You want to go first or second?
Go second.
All right, Lil B and Tommy for 10.
Scuba?
Steve.
Oh, my God.
I'm not even going to give you a different one.
Zach and Common for 9.
Scuba.
Gear.
Lil B and Tommy for 8.
Jump.
Dive?
Yes. Thank God.
No, scuba diving, not Scuba Steve.
I thought he was actually not going to get it on that one. I should have said dive. I was going to say, I thought it was either scuba gear or scuba dive.
That's a snorkel.
That's a gear. But yeah, no, that was
Scuba diving.
that was my bad. I should
You should have said jump.
I should have said jump. I got cocky.
That was good. We got it. We got it.
I know.
8 points.
But I want you to listen to me. When you come back, I'm 100% certain one of Tenna's words is never going to be Steve.
It's not saucy, given.
I might throw it in next time just for fun.
By the way, what is Scuba Steve anyway? Something
From
that a
Big
boomer
Daddy.
would know?
Yeah, it's from Big Daddy.
Another. Yeah.
Great film. It's a great film.
Sure
Can I
it's
roll
terrific.
over?
I'm sure it's terrific. Yeah.
I'll roll over.
All right, it's 43-23. Lil B and Tommy with the 20-point lead. Common and Tommy, take a look at the iPad. The password is mix. All right, Common, you can still make this a one-possession game. You're down 20. You got the option. You want to go first or second?
We're going to go first.
All right, Common and Zach for 10.
Stir.
Dish.
Tommy and Lil B for 9.
Trail.
Mix.
B, here we go. Here we go. Nice. That's so good.
Yeah.
Don't you love trail mix?
I really do. I have so much of it in my house. So good.
You said
right,
trail? I thought you said drill.
I didn't even understand it.
Lil B and Tommy lead 52-23. Lil B and Zach. iPads, please. The password is orchestra. All right, Zach. You need to up your game here. You're down 29. The option's yours. You want to go first or second?
If it's hyphenated, is that one word still?
I don't think a hyphenated word would be one word.
Okay. We'll go second then.
You would.
All right, Lil B and Tommy for 10.
Symphony.
Bohemian.
What?
They're going to have Rhapsody.
Rhapsody.
Oh, yeah.
And another word I'm probably not going to use.
You tree. Oh, my God.
Zach and Common for 9.
Siberian.
Orchestra.
I'm sorry, B. Don't make me feel bad. I'm just playing.
He's just playing. He's a player.
52-32. Lil B and Tommy still have the lead. Common and T.O. take a look at the iPad. The password is shelf. All right, Common. Once again, you can make it a one-possession game. You're down 20 points. The option's yours. You want to go first or second?
I'm going to go second.
All right, T.O. and Lil B for 10.
Top.
Bottom.
Common and Zach for 9.
Hockey.
Blade.
T.O. and Lil B.
Did you listen to his clue?
Wait, you're not supposed to say that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, T.O. and Lil B for 8.
Elf.
Shelf.
That's right. That's Elf on the Shelf was a thing.
Oh.
You can rhyme that.
Top shelf.
Shelf.
Top shelf. Got it.
Hockey, I didn't-
Got it.
Nice, B.
You gave it. You gave it.
That was really good.
Hockey guy.
Not
What's a hockey shell? I don't know what a hockey
Top shelf when you
shelf.
score
That
up
was
top.
a great.
Yeah.
That was a
Oh,
great clue.
okay.
That was a great
I didn't
clue.
know that.
Zach should have known that.
Okay.
That was a great clue, Common.
Okay.
Elf on
You
the
don't,
Shelf.
you don't have to play.
Elf on a shelf. Why do I feel like Tommy does elf on a shelf for himself?
No, Sess does for me.
I'm sure she does.
Great.
Her wife is a saint.
60-32. Lil B and T.O. with the lead. So Lil B and Tommy, you guys are 20 away from victory.
Here we go.
Lil B and Zach, go take a look at the iPad. The password is gift. All right, Zach, down 28. The option's yours. You want to go first or second?
We'll go first.
All right, Zach and Common
It's so sad.
Broken.
for 10.
I'm so bad at this game.
No, you're not. Maybe.
He's good when he plays with me.
Yeah, I know.
You guys are 1 and 3 together, so that's
Okay,
incorrect.
zip it.
Zach and Common for 10.
Present.
Future.
Lil B and Tommy for 9.
Christmas.
Birthday.
No, Christmas.
Zach and Common for 8.
Christmas.
Gift.
Get away from me. Go over there.
B. We need to stay close. We need this.
60-40. Lil B and T.O. with a 20-point lead. Common and Tommy. Take a look at the iPad. The password is sponsor. All right, Common. You can make this a 10-point game. Once again, you can get to one possession. You've got the option. You want to go first or second?
I'm going to go second.
All right, Tommy and Lil B for 10.
Advertisement.
Commercial.
Common and Zach for 9.
Support.
Pledge.
Do I have the word right? Can I look at it again?
I think you get it right.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, thanks. Okay.
Tommy and Lil B for 8.
Promo.
Common and Zach for 7.
Partner.
Champion.
Tommy and Lil B for 6.
Paid.
Sponsor.
Nice.
I should have got that sooner.
Yeah, that's right up your alley.
Yeah, it really is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, we got it there. We got there,
Okay.
though.
Notice the support he gives you.
It's
even
very
when,
supportive.
Yeah. You just give him the stare.
Yeah.
Thank you, Thomas.
66
Yeah,
to
that's what I do. Yeah.
66
I feel
to
bad for you.
40. Tommy and Lil B
For
are
a number of reasons.
14 points away from a win. Lil B and Zach, take a look at the iPad. The password is torch. All right, Zach, go.
What's the score?
66-40. You're down 26. Time to turn this thing around right now. What do you want to do? Go first or second?
Go first.
All right.
All right, Zach and Common for 10.
Tiki.
Barber.
Not a bad one. Yeah, not a
I
bad
thought
one.
for sure that's what it was going to be.
Bad one.
Lil B and Tommy for 9.
Fire.
Torch.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Don't look at me like that.
I didn't think you were going to guess that.
I just thought you were
I
going,
wasn't.
I thought you were going with the sports thing. I
I don't blame you. It was,
That's what I thought.
That was really good. Really good.
Here's where we're at. Lil B and Tommy have 75. So if they get 5 or more, they are victorious. Common and Zach still at 40. Common and Tommy. Take a look at the iPad. The password is awards. All right, Common, you'll have the option for a while here. You're down 35 points, maybe the rest of the way.
I'll go first.
Sounds confident. Common and Zach for 10.
SB.
Tommy and Lil B for 9 and the win.
Grammy.
Award.
No.
Let's go. Great win.
I'm thinking like espionage or something like that.
No, it's espionage. I would say SB.
Oh, I want to be on your team if we play in the tournament.
Yeah.
Careful about
We could
that.
play together.
We would be good. We'd
Yeah.
make a run.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so much fun.
It looks like Zach's going to be a teammates with Muss in the tournament.
Wow.
He usually plays better than that.
He does?
He does.
I wasn't very good either. It just didn't work for us today.
Yeah. Well,
Just didn't work for us today.
Still a nice sweater, Zacho.
at least I look good doing it.
And you know what? To me, you're still a top shelf person. Okay, hey, Tommy, thanks as always. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you. This
Thanks
is
for
the best.
coming in.
I love coming on
and
here.
We'd
Thank
love to have
you.
you again.
Thanks,
Jacko,
guys.
we'll see you soon.
Yes.
I don't know if no, we'll have you again. Trust me.
We won't be. We're going to end this 4-0, 04 dread. We're going to turn it around.
That's great.
Lil B, as always, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
We'll pause, come back with more Common Man Program on the Fan. Dark Star Memorial Hour. I have one for you today. It says, Common, it is with a heavy heart that I submit my grandpa and grandma Ellis, Upa and Uma, for this week's memorial. Upa and Uma grew up during apartheid South Africa. They never had a hateful bone in their body, and as Afrikaners, Afrikaners? People from Africa. They taught us that all humans were equal and that our lot in life was never determined by our skin, but rather our hard work. Upa was an engineer and led the Department of Water for our province for 2 decades. He built some of the largest dams in Africa during his time based on designs he learned from his many trips to Niagara Falls and the Hoover Dam. He loved rugby, cricket, and tennis, and later in life asked me to get him caught up on football. He was an incredible man with a massive heart for humanity, and he will be sorely missed. Uma was an elementary school teacher, one of the first female teachers in the country, and an absolutely stellar cook and host. On Sundays, we would go directly to her house after church, and I would immediately ask her what we were making for dessert. She would immediately pull out the recipe and start walking me through it step by step, all the while being very patient as I spilled and learned the trade. She instilled in me my love for cooking and entertaining. She was a tour de force, a woman who touched many hearts and many lives with her patience, passion, and compassion. As you can probably tell by now, I'm not from this land. My family moved here when I was 11. And many of these memories with my grandparents were from very early on in life when they lived on our farm with us. I'm now 37, and I've seen them 3 times over the past 26 years. That's what makes this moment so tough and why I want to memorialize them. I would ask that Dark open his heart and arms when he meets them both. Upa will talk his ear off about rugby, whether he likes it or not, while Uma preps the most incredible dishes. Finally, I ask of you and all our listeners, with all of the hate and disgust being directed at people like me as of late, please remember that we are people who sacrifice an incredible amount to live in our dream, live our dream in this land. So please be kind, patient, and understanding towards each other, just like Uma and Upa taught. Blessings to you and yours. Well said. There we go. Another Dark Star memorial for you. I had another wild question for you, but I can't remember what it was. I know what I wanted to talk about. The Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
it wasn't too terribly long ago. They were a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans and a terrible stadium. Was it not? Or have they been very good for a while? It just seems like I remember them being not a very good hockey team.
You know, they did have a down year or two, if I recall, but they always appeared to have what you thought was going to be a good core and thought they were going to be, they seemed to underperform a little bit. And then they ended up jettisoning some of those players, like Blake Wheeler, who's one of us. They ended up getting rid of him, and I was one of those that believed in them a couple years ago, and they always underperformed when I was the one saying, hey, they're going to be good. And now when I thought they'd fallen off, they've reemerged. So,
are they considered? I know for a while we had Chicago, we thought was our biggest rival, right?
Yeah.
Are they really? Is Winnipeg supposed to become that because they're just north of the border, or not?
Even with Chicago, I think people said they were our rival just because we were meeting them in the playoffs a couple years in a row. But one, we weren't ever winning those. It was a one-sided rivalry. And two, I don't feel like there was a lot of hatred between those two teams, right? Like they played a very skilled finesse game with Patrick Kane and your guy Jonathan Toews.
Right.
Like it's not like you would play games against them and just physical brawls and everyone's getting angry about it. I never felt like they were like a rival. I've always felt Colorado, because we've met them multiple times in the playoffs, and Winnipeg obviously just because of the geography, their fans travel well. They'll come down to the X. It's a border battle. They've been sticking it to us a little bit the last 2 years, and they were the team that got Kirill Kaprizov injured. Was that last year or 2 years ago? I forget now. Kind of derailed their season.
Yeah, right. They must have talent, right? I mean, do they have it top to bottom, offense, defense, goaltending?
Goaltending's really good.
Yeah.
So their goalie right now, Connor Hellebuck, I believe has the best stats in the league in terms of goaltending. Gustafson's in the neighborhood.
Right.
And Gustafson had the one bad game, but up until then, Gustafson was the top goalie in the league. But I think Connor Hellebuck, his goals against average and save percentage is number one in the league.
I don't know if you noticed, but this Wild Club is starting to catch on with me a little bit.
Really?
Well, I know people get, it's my same old tired refrain, get to the fill in the blank, Western Conference Finals, NFC Championship game, American League Championship Series. And of course, we're a long way from that, but the team does. And again, it's the old small sample size, but 13 games we played.
9-2-2, yep.
So that's, I don't know what percentage of that is that of the season. I mean, we're starting now to get a little bit of a feel for what the team's like, and they seem to be pretty good. So second place, 6 points behind Winnipeg. So this team is starting to catch on with me a little bit.
I think they're tied for the third most points in the National Hockey League.
So there you go. So now, I know we're not at the Western, and if I wait for us to get to the Western Conference Finals and get back to me, I might be dead. So as long as they're playing well, maybe now it's not like I'm going to tune in for an entire game, but maybe I'll kind of sort of see what goes on.
Well, and Kirill Kaprizov has always been a star here, but he this year right now, like he's superstar. Like I'm gonna carry this team on my back, and can he do it for 82 games? Who knows, but he's been absolutely spectacular right now. If he's playing like that, then the Wild do have a chip in a chair.
Kaprizov, Zuccarello, who else is on the line?
Rossi.
Let's go. We'll take a break, come back. Vikings. We'll talk Vikings versus the Jaguars, or Jaguars, as I like to say. That game you'll hear Sunday on this radio station. That's what we'll do during the Victory Formation segment. That's next here on The Fan. Metallica and vomiting rats. Five-finger death punch, is it? Something
Sure.
like that. Do you have a vibe here? I'm sorry.
No, we're out of vibes today.
Okay. Vibe it up. Common antenna B here till 3. We turn it over to Big Ticket and JG. They're polished, professional, and poised. They're next. If you've been listening, you know that Common is uninformed, unprepared, and unapologetic. Before we get to the Vikings, there's a couple of other topics I do want to get to. We're going to, in victory formation, we're going to kneel down on 3 or 4 efforts here. This one says, this raises interesting issues. This one says, this is from Mike. Since they're doing well, you're just going to hop on the bandwagon? LOL. Like, oh, really? Laugh out loud. Yeah. That's what I do. You mean you just follow a team through thick and thin no matter what? My time is valuable to me. There are a lot of different entertainment options in the world, not just sports, but movies, Rockford Files. You got TV, you have your kids' activities. I have my own. I like to play golf. There are a lot of things. I'm not going to watch a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans game after game. If that's what you want to do, knock yourself out. But I don't have time anymore in my life. I don't want to. It's like I'm not. If the team is bad, I'm not going to continue to invest my time, effort, or money in them. Is that wrong?
No, not at all.
I don't think it is. It's still, hey, check the score, read the gamer. Because I need to for my job, but I mean, I'm just not going to just, the other thing is what I try to tell people. I know the Wild, the Vikings, the Twins, the Wolves, the Frost, the Strikers, what's our soccer team? The Loons. They're all based in Minneapolis. How many hometown players are any of those teams? Very few. These guys are just mercenaries. So it's like you just because I don't understand. I'm not saying you shouldn't root for your hometown team, but it's not like I don't understand people, man. And if you approach sports rooting the way you want, but yeah, when they're not doing well, I don't have as much interest. When they're doing well, hey, something to pay attention. I use this example all the time. Let's say a new restaurant comes to your town, right? Hey, brand new restaurant opened up. Let's go check it out. And you go there, and the first meal or the service is underwhelming the first time.
Yeah.
Maybe caught them on a bad night. Brand new, they're busy. Let's try it again some other time. You go a second time. A little better, but still, then you go a third time. And it's still not very good. Are you going to keep supporting them because they're the hometown restaurant? No! You're going to stop going.
Give me a good product.
Yes. Give me a good product and I'll support it. Why do people approach sports differently? Especially these guys are multi-millionaires, all of them. They got big money, big prizes, big houses. I'm sure they would like you to root for them, but at the end of the day, it's just they're mercenaries, man. Play the game, give me my paycheck, and I go, how many times have you heard players say this all the time? Fans seem to care more about it than we do. I think they do, so.
I always find the fan dynamic interesting of, let's say you didn't talk about the Wild at all, right? Hottest team in town, you didn't say a word about them.
Yeah.
What emails would you get? How come you're not talking about the Wild? Why aren't you bringing them up? They're doing well. And then when you do bring them up and go, hey, I'm excited, they're doing well, then you get you're just bandwagon. You haven't talked about them before, but now you're going to talk about them and get excited about it. Like, you can't win sometimes. To me, as a Wild fan or a hockey fan, if people are talking about your team and talking about your sport and showing some interest, you should welcome them.
Yeah. Mike, he responds, well, you did it with the Kitties all these years, so which is it? No, I didn't do it with the Kitties. I watched them and paid attention, but I was watching and paid attention because they were terrible. The 0-16 season, I was rooting against them because it was historically good or biblically bad. During the really bad seasons, trust me, I didn't watch every game. I didn't watch every game. I've been watching them all now. And I always watch the Vikings because if you don't watch the Vikings and you're a sports talk show host at KFAN, you're doomed. Right? Because this is a Vikings town, so I watch every Vikings game. I do. Now, I've missed one or two, like earlier this year. It was the opener against the Giants. I was participating in the Annika Intercollegiate Pro-Am. And then when I saw the score was 26-3, it was rather an underwhelming game. I watched a highlight package, and that was good enough for me. So, all right, it's just like 26-3. It's one of those really not much to report on there. One basketball thing. You know that I list radio as lazy radio. You know how I've fallen in love with power rankings. CBS Sports did their NBA power rankings. And this was from yesterday, so not a lot has changed. I remember and I don't know if CBS Sports, if where the Wolves were in their first power rankings, they're number nine in the power rankings, which isn't a bad spot to be. But I was a little surprised. I know the record's 5-3, but I was still surprised because they went to the Western Conference Finals last year, and there's so much discussion about this team. They're getting primetime games. They have certainly one of the best players, up-and-coming players in the league, in Ant. Yet they're 9. It's the Cavs are the top-ranked team at 9-0, followed by the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors.
Yeah,
well, they're 7-1. Followed by the Thunder, down under, the Celts, the Suns, the Rockets, the Nuggets, the Mavericks, and then the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's bulletin board material. Them that are fighting words. Maybe that's where they should be. And Tim, as you pointed out many times, really the only rankings that matter are the standings. But I'm always interested. I think it's nice fodder. It's food for thought to see where.
Well, how about just looking at the standings, the imbalance between the Western Conference and Eastern Conference has been that way for a while, but it's even more so this year. Right now, third place in the Eastern Conference, 4-4 record. Indiana Pacers and Brooklyn Nets have a 4-4 record at third place. Right now in the Western Conference, ninth place is 5-4. So the ninth place team in the West has a better record than the third place team in the East.
Wow. Yeah, see, so there you go. There is an imbalance. Me boy, not sure I agree with you on only supporting something if it's a good product. I've been listening to the Grum for a couple 13, 14 years. Not sure I describe it as good. Well, there's that. Before we talk Vikings, want to talk Bungles versus Ravens last night. Arch rivals. You can certainly describe that as a rivalry. Bengals have gotten off to a slow start. It looked like what you might call a must-win game last night. Ravens have been very, very good. Are they now 7-3?
Yes.
And Bungles went to 4-6.
4-6, yeah.
Bungles had a big lead. Ravens came back. First of all, the run to the 1 yard line by LJ. You've seen it, right? Did you watch the whole game live? I was in and out.
I watched a good chunk of it, but then once the Wild started at 9:30, I turned over the Wild. So but I did see the highlight of that.
Once Mr. Sandman came to visit my house, that's when I stopped watching. But I did see the highlight as well. That's the beauty of having a mobile quarterback, man. I mean, he was done.
He had no business getting out of that.
No, there's no business. And he ends up, how many yards did he backpedal? 10, 15, 20 yards?
Like 20 yards back and then 30 yards forward.
And he almost scored. And it's and he can throw now. At the beginning of the game, is it Herb Street? Is he the?
Yes,
he's the guy. He's the
analyst.
I think he summed it up beautifully. He said, LJ used to be an athlete who played quarterback. Now he's a quarterback who's a really good athlete.
Yeah.
He does play quarterback because it wasn't that the rap on him that he wasn't a great thrower.
He was a running quarterback.
Yeah, he was a running quarterback, and now he throws it as good as anybody. I mean, I know Mahomes is considered the best, and again, if it's a game of pickup, Tenneby and I got first pick, and Lamar's there, and Mahomes is there, I'm probably taking Mahomes. But I think LJ.
You could argue.
I think he's a close second, a really close second. He's got so much talent, man. He's so dangerous. He's a multiple-time MVP.
Yes, when he just needs to do it in the playoffs.
There have been that. Well, that is the other rap that hasn't happened in the playoffs. I think he tied an NFL record last week. Not last night's game. I don't know what his quarterback rating was, but he's had 4 perfect quarterback ratings, which I think only one other quarterback. Did I read that stat right? That in a career, I'm not talking about in a season or weeks in a row. It's hard to have what is it? Is 158.3 or something like that the perfect quarterback rating? He's done it 4 times in his career, which I believe I read ties a record.
Yeah, it's 158.3. It seems weird to have that number be your perfect passer rating.
Yeah.
It's not like a nice round number like 100.
Yeah.
Just 158.3.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where did that come from?
I don't know where it came from, but There's that. Then the end of the game. Bungle scored touchdown to get to within one. One to tie, sent it to overtime. They decided to go for the 2-point conversion. I like the decision. I stand by it. If that's my club or not my club, if I'm watching the game and a team, I like. We talked about it yesterday because a 2-point conversion, wasn't there a 2-point conversion that Rams game, Rams Seattle? We talked about that on Monday. Remember when the Rams in Seattle and the Rams decided to tie the game instead of go for 2, and they ended up winning in overtime, but they decided to go for the tie. Or maybe it was Seattle kicked the tying field goal. I don't recall, or tying extra point, whatever the case may be. This is where I can see if you're a fan, if you're a fan of the Bungles, where you could be annoyed, and if you are a player on the Bungles, where you'd be infuriated. There could have been 2 penalties called on that 2-point conversion play. Now, the one kind of holding on that was at the tight end. Yeah, I get it. There's always a grabbing of the jersey. I don't think I've ever seen a guy go out on a pass pattern and not have his jersey grabbed, at least at one time during the route.
And
right?
rushing the passer as well.
Exactly. Yeah. But the blow to the face, again, it was similar. If I don't know how that one wasn't called. Did you see that highlight? Have you seen that?
Yes.
I don't know how they, again, unless it's the same thing that happened in that Viking game where the ref just, it must be, right? Didn't see it. But I mean, that was, and did you see what Burrow said after the game? I never get those calls. That's what he said. And I think that's the first time he's ever publicly complained about not getting calls, but he said, I just don't expect to get them because I never do. There should have been a penalty call. They should have been given another opportunity, but it wasn't, and who knows where that game will end up.
Well, it was a huge game for Cincinnati.
Well, exactly.
Big difference between 5-5 and 4-6, and now you're 3 games behind Baltimore. 2-3 games behind Pittsburgh in the division standings. They don't have the tiebreaker in Baltimore anymore either. So they basically got no shot at the division now. They just have to sneak into the wild card, one of the bottom wild card spots.
Vikings versus the Jaguars on this radio station. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. Sunday. Be here for the opening kaboom at 12 noon. The national treasure, Vox in the Box, the voice of the Vikes, Paul Allen, Barney the Purple Dinosaur, along with Pete Versich and Ben Lieber will be on the call, and your master control supervisor will be none other than Tanabisi.
Did you want the injury report for that, by the way?
Do you have that? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and give me that.
The Vikings just listed 3 players as questionable. Blake Cashman, Ivan Pace Jr., and then Gabe Murphy, who's still in that 21-day practice window. So those 3 all listed as questionable, but otherwise pretty darn healthy and might be completely healthy.
I've attempted, I think both of us have, we've attempted to predict which questionable guys will play or not. I think I've been wrong every time. If you remember, Aaron Jones had the hip injury. Then they signed Cam Akers like the next day or 2 days later. I was convinced that meant he ain't playing. And we need a running back right now. I know they like Akers, and if you like a guy, he's available, you get him. But I thought for sure Jones wouldn't play. He played.
I will say back to that. At the time, I think you had that take, and I said it might be they just don't have a lot of confidence in their backup running backs, right? Mm-hmm. And if you look at last week, who was the main backup running back? It was Cam Akers. Ty Chandler's barely playing now.
Yeah, whether that's doghouse or, like you say, just not playing well, and they don't trust him.
And Cam had a good drive for them.
He did.
In that game against Indy.
He did. We've been guessing about Hawkinson for a while. We've been guessing about this player, that player. And so to take guesses, even Cashman, I don't know. Do you expect him to play? He's been practicing. He's listed as a question. I guess my guess is going to be he plays. And I think Ivan Pace Jr. will play as well. I think they're both going to play. But I can't guarantee that. That's that. It's dangerous to say, you know what? The guy could play if we were playing Detroit. We were playing Kansas City. But we're playing Jacksonville. So, maybe we give him one more week because one more week can go a long way in an injury, I think. Like maybe one more week in the turf toe and it's perfect. Maybe right now it's a little, don't want to aggravate it. So, but if but it can be dangerous to overlook a team like that. Go, oh, it's just Jacksonville. But I've always been, if you think one more week will really go a long way, I know it's a tough guy sport, built different, that whole thing. I'm a guy that lets things, I'd let it go.
If you can play without making it worse, I say you go out and you go play the football game. That's what I say. But both Cashman and Pace. So Cashman was limited Wednesday. He was limited Thursday. He was a full participant today. Ivan Pace Jr. did not participate Wednesday, was limited yesterday. He was a full participant today. So that would lead me to believe when you're a full participant on a Friday, I'm leaning towards they're playing.
We're loaded for bear. Everybody's healthy. We're ready to go. Here we go. I'm expecting Jacksonville to score 0 points because they have a backup quarterback, and we have Blake Cashman, who everyone told us he's the reason they were struggling for those 2 games. So let me ask you this: what week is this?
Week 10.
If you told me at week 10 we're going to be perfectly healthy, I'd said I'll take that. 6-2, health 100% across the board. I mean, as far as being able to play, there's guys with bumps and bruises and all those things.
We don't have J.J. McCarthy, but yes.
Yes, well, that's right. We don't have McCarthy. But I'd say, let's go. Let's play. One matchup that'll be interesting. Cam Robinson played for this club, didn't he?
Yes, just 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Now he'll be squaring off against, Josh Hines Allen? Is that his name? Edge rusher?
The other Josh Allen?
Yeah, the other Josh Allen.
Did you just say the middle name to specify?
Cam Robinson, in his first outing with his new team, surrendered 4 pressures on 40 pass sets, earning a 64.4 Pro Football Focus pass blocking grade. Is that good? Do you know about how the grades work? Is that a good grade, 64.4? If you've allowed 4 pressures, that doesn't seem too terribly bad, does it? Or is that bad if you're allowing 4 pressures?
I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's great. But I would think 4 out of 40 is pretty good.
Meanwhile, Hines Allen has been on a tear in recent weeks, what they tell me, the people I trust. Says he's produced, and it's described in this matchup preview that I dug up. It says Hines Allen has produced a fantastic 89.9 Pro Football Focus pass rush grade this season, powered by 6 sacks, 3 of them which have come in the last 2 games. So our left tackle's apparently going to have his hands full, but it's a guy he should be relatively
familiar with him.
But of course, the edge rusher's also familiar
Correct.
with the left tackle. To me, this is a matchup that's worth watching, I think. This is the matchup that I know I'll be watching because if you'll remember, I've played both sides of the ball and I've played on the line before. So it should be interesting. The other thing, and we talked about this yesterday, I think. I don't know about in depth. Oh, someone said everyone healthy about the kicker and long snapper. You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I missed that. That's just a kicker. Anybody can kick the ball. Put it this way. If the game comes down to a must-make field goal for the Vikings, I'm going to be a little disappointed in their performance. I want them, as much as I said I want a close game, I would still like to see them. Let's show that we're one of the better teams in the conference, right? Let's flex our muscles again a little bit here. Let's objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
I will say regarding the kicker, we had gotten to the point with Reichard where I didn't have anxiety before a kick, and it felt kind of weird. It didn't feel normal. And now, back to this week, that first kick, we're all going to be feeling the anxiety. So it'll feel like we're a Viking fan again.
Yeah, it will feel like it. It's
like our normal selves.
I call it frayed nerves football. Your nerves are frayed as you watch them trot out. I described it yesterday, Tennessee. Teams driving down the field. Television producers going, show place kicker on the sideline, kicking off the trapezoid. And you keep looking at it and we're going, oh my gosh, it's going to come. Then you're also, just please break a tackle and score a touchdown so we don't have to try the field goal. And then it's get back. It's on the line. Thanks for having me today.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit with you today. We're back on Monday at 12 noon. Brett Blakemore in for JG. Your host, of course, Dan Barrera. We'll talk to you Monday. Enjoy your weekend.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Minnesota!
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.